Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. Welcome, Kiki. So we are dealing with some beautiful full moon energies. This is the last full moon of 2025. It is a super moon that is occurring in Gemini. And so the sign of the twins and so forth. So beautiful, beautiful energies. And let's just jump in really quickly to the main energies. We're going to front load the show and the energies. We're working with the color green, as you can see. December is standstill, release. This beautiful, like we're releasing, the year, the past, emptying the vessel. We have 3 difficult beginnings, persevere. It's a 9-year. We're wrapping up this 9-year, this conclusion and this cycle to begin a new year, a 10-year in 2026. So it's small restraint, surrender, authenticity and humility to create balance, and this 6, conflict, let go. So these are the numbers, if you will, the energies of the numbers and so forth that we're working with. But more importantly, let's take a look at this beautiful astrological chart for the Gemini super full moon. It's occurring tomorrow on December 4th. And remember, all astrological energies, there are some that are in shorter duration in transits and so forth. But the main focus is that many of these energies arc out. And so no matter when you come upon the Weekly Wisdom and Insights show or episode that you may come across, it's going to be timely for you. The messages will be timely. In this chart, you see the full moon and the sun are opposing one another. We're getting ready to have this stellium of planets from at the very bottom of the chart. Mercury's on the far left, black moon Lilith, Venus, the sun, Mars. They're all going to end up in Sagittarius. So there's going to be this stellium of planets in the coming days and week of these planets. We have the grand water trine that's there that's helping to soothe everything out for us and make everything a little bit more palatable and easy. And yet we're still, there's still conflicts. There's still oppositions. Uranus is playing a big role. Expect the unexpected because it's opposing both Mercury and Venus. So that's happening. And they are going to be exact oppositions coming up. And there's a square then between Saturn and Neptune over in Pisces with Mars, divine masculine, in the 4th house, so things that are foundational. So there's a lot going on. Our astrological influences. This is speaking about peak experiences. Welcome, Olivia. And then there's YACHTSMEN. YACHTSMEN is the title of a painting by Marcel Mouly, who was a an apprentice, if you will, of Matisse. And so there's this aspect when you look at this Gemini super full moon chart and you see the peaks at the bottom. There's these kind of trifecta, this l'étoile, the three, this aspect of things that, and we've had this, that trifecta effect, things that are happening in threes, things that will happen in threes. And so this l'étoile yachtsman, and the ocean is, you know, the great consciousness. It's where everything emanates from, the waters, the firmament, the waters. And so there's a beautiful aspect here that the unseen is speaking to peak experiences happening in threes, l'étoile yachtsmen. And yachtsmen, you know, they're not afraid to go out and adventure forward. And that's a big theme about what we're coming to in the overall energies of this week and what will be rippling out with the Gemini super full moon. And so in threes, and how the adventure awaits. And then also this funneling and channeling greatness. This is baptism by fire, and we'll come to that in a moment, but it's Pentecost, it's baptism by fire. This funneling and channeling of greatness, divine wisdom. And you see that when you really look at the top of the inner circle of the chart, and you see the darker, the more solid blue lines. They create, when you take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and you kind of fold it like an airplane, you know, like a paper airplane, and you fold it, it creates this funnel, this kind of, and so you can see on the left is Jupiter, at the top is Uranus, on the far right, Saturn and Neptune. These are all heavy hitter planets, and they are funneling all of this wisdom, the unseen, our divine, you know, our divinity, our source, down into Mercury. Mercury is how we make things tangible. It's how we think and speak and communicate, and it controls electronics and celluloid, things that are recorded, mechanics, things, moving parts, things of this nature. But it really speaks to how we communicate with one another, how we speak to ourselves, our words, our thoughts, all of these things that come into that. So that's this channeling and funneling of greatness. So, and it's Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. It's the twins. And so, and it's ruled by Mercury. You get where all this is going, I hope. Put in the comments. Let's jump into our main theme. Let me just show you really quickly before we jump to our main theme. You'll note that the sun and the moon, top of the chart, bottom of the chart, they are both at 13 degrees, Gemini and Sagittarius respectively. Then you look at the north node and the south node. They're like the horseshoe symbols, kind of left and right on the chart. They are at 13 degrees. So we have this, you know, these quadruple, but double and quadruple 13s. And so our main theme that we are working with is 1313, reaching beyond established forms, established norms. And this is Al Medicine Revisited. So this is about reaching beyond. Gemini, this Gemini super full moon, this last full moon that's culminating the year of 2025, this conclusion of a 9 cycle, it's about reaching beyond established forms, established norms, what, you know, the things that we know. And how Al Medicine, you know, Al Medicine is that all-seeing eye in the pitch, in the void, in the blackness of it all, which means that we can see through things, see through the illusion. So let's jump into 1313. And there we go. The spiritual meaning of 1313 is often interpreted as a sign of significant change, transformation, and the manifestation of dreams, encouraging a positive and creative mindset during times of transition. We are in a massive time of transition. And so this is about what we see before us. It's not about where we've been, it's about where we're going. And so significant change, transformation, and the manifestation of dreams, encouraging a positive and creative mindset during times of transition. It is seen as a message to have courage and faith in the universe's guidance, the unseen's guidance. Because as above, so below, and they know all, we know little. And so they, the host, the master weaver, we're the guest. And so when we connect to our soul source connection, to our intuition, to our knowing, we know to go as guided. We know where to go. And then we use these various modalities, these signs and symbols and instruments and knowings to help us navigate. It's our GPS. So it's about having faith in the universe's guidance as a cycle is ending to make way for new beginnings. 2025 is a 9, it's a cycle. 2026 is a 10. Piscean, Aquarian, divine masculine, divine feminine, patriarchal, matriarchal. So it's being utilized, it's this guidance, this universal guidance that's being given to us as a cycle is ending to make way for new beginnings. In a biblical sense, it relates to the number 13, which represents faith, hope, and love, as highlighted in 1 Corinthians 13:13. 1 Corinthians 13:13 states, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." This verse is a concluding statement of a passage that emphasizes that while faith and hope are enduring, love is the most important of the three. The context explains that love is what gives faith and hope their ultimate purpose and value. So we know this to be true, that love is our foundation. It's our essence. It's who we are. And without it, it's a very bleak and dismal outlook. However, when love is at the forefront, it is the foundation, the sustenance of hope and faith and what's before us. And so this 1313, it's about transformation and change. It's a powerful number of transitions, signifying that the changes occurring in your life are for your benefit and are leading to new and positive outcomes. All of this, even though we're watching, as we said, Rome burns, we're using that euphemistically, but watching the old just collapse, the deconstruction. But in the construction, 1313, this beautiful, powerful number of transition, signifying change, and that it's for us, it's for our benefit, and that it's leading to new positive outcomes. Because again, on the other side of the deconstruction is the construction, is the new. The number encourages you to focus your thoughts and energy on what you want to create, as your creative potential is high. It is a message to be mindful of your thoughts and to use your psychic abilities to manifest your desires. Your psychic abilities, that word psychic, is intuitive. It is your innate divinity, your soul source connection, your connection to the unseen, the host, the master weaver, the divine, God, however you wish to ascribe to it. It's that GPS system that keeps us true north. It's not ego, mind, personality, human. It's heart, soul, spirit, the unseen. And so it's this manifestation and creativity. The number encourages you to focus your thoughts and energy on what you want to create. It suggests that you have the strength and ability to lead yourself and others through challenging times, and that you are supported in your journey. Remember, this is hexagram 17, follow, be led, show by example. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. We don't have to, be in other people's faces. Simply walk the walk, talk the talk, and people will notice. They're going to pay attention. And your light, the unseen is saying, and your light brightens. Your energy shifts. And it's contagious. It makes you smile. It's like light, all these filaments of light coming on. Well, that's energy. And it radiates and it glows and it magnifies and amplifies. It gets larger. So it's about courage and leadership. And it's about faith and hope. Seeing 1313 is a reminder to maintain faith and hope, particularly as you navigate these changes. It reinforces the idea that a cycle is ending to make room for something beautiful to begin. This is about use your intuition. 1313 is not rigid. It can vary based on your current life circumstances, so it's about trusting your intuition, your knowing, your gut, to understand what message is most relevant to you. Because the difference will be your ego, mind, personality, human is monkey mind, chatter, fear, anxiety, stress, all of these. And yet when you just quiet that and they say, send the monkey minds to the water, to the lake, they get enamored with their own reflection. That stills you so that in the stillness, you can hear your soul speak. And then your soul will know exactly what to do. So use your intuition, trust your own intuition to understand what messages are for you, what's ego, mind, personality, human, what's not. Be mindful of your thoughts, pay attention to your thoughts and beliefs as they have a direct impact on what you are manifesting. This is emptying the vessel. This is making space for the new. This is releasing the old masks, identities, labels, scripts, stories, all these things all this armor that we've placed on ourselves that needs to fall away so that the authenticity, the purity of your soul comes forward. And it's about embracing change. Rather than fearing change, see it as a natural and necessary part of growth and a sign that your dreams are on their way to being realized. And lastly, it's about connecting with your faith. The 1313 encourages a spiritual or faithful mindset, reminding you to have hope that the path ahead is guided and ultimately positive. So again, we may have hiccups and bumps in the road, and this isn't about perfection, meaning, oh, life is just this, this perfected state. It's about recognizing that no matter the journey, the unseen source, God, Allah, Buddha, the all that is, the divine, the unseen, is guiding you. It's guiding us. And when we connect to that higher octave, it's a game changer. It's a whole new world. It's a different reality. That is where we are and where we're moving to. And so this reaching 1313, reaching beyond established forms, norms, and owl medicine revisited. So let's go to owl medicine really quickly. And I want to bring in one of the Sabian symbols first, because that is going to be, this is where the owl medicine popped back in. And it's a beautiful, here we are, it's for the IC. An old owl, and this is by Dane Rudyer, an astrological mandala. It's a Sabian symbol for the IC in this Gemini full moon, super full moon chart. An old owl sits alone on the branch of a large tree. The keynote is a poised and wise approach to existence based on a clear perception, pardon me, of unconscious factors and their operation. The owl has always been a symbol of wisdom, and its hooting call has evoked a rise to mysterious and hidden elements in life. The owl functions lucidly in the night aspect of existence. Their eyes see what men normally fail to perceive. They represent that consciousness which is active, where the processes of life normally escape the attention of the personal ego and its intellect. See, this is where we ignore or demean or diminish the unseen. And yet here this Sabian symbol is speaking to a poised and wise approach to existence, to life, based on a clear perception of unconscious factors and their operation. This is coming into unity and harmony with the unseen, oneness, our soul source connection, your intuition. This symbol suggests the possibility of developing a wisdom beyond tragedy, a peace and poise beyond conflict. It's hexagram 6, conflict, let go. One might speak here of translucidity. Translucidity is allowing light to pass through partially or diffusely. It's allowing the light, let there be light, the light, the divine, to pass and permeate through us, illuminate us, so that we have a greater octave of consciousness, of awareness, of beingness. And so this owl medicine, An old owl sits alone on the branch of a large tree in this poised and wise approach to life. So you can see they're really, the unseen is really teeing us up for 2026, for what is, what's to come, what's before us. So now let's move into, I want to go to our mantra. And our mantra is believing is seeing. Believing is seeing. This is about John 20:29. And John 20:29 states, quote, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." This verse is Master Jesus' response to the disciple Thomas, who initially doubted Master Jesus' resurrection until he saw the risen Lord and touched his wounds. The passage emphasizes that while seeing can lead to belief, a deeper and more blessed form of faith is one that trusts without physical proof. What we are being asked to trust is our soul source connection, the unseen, that speaks to us. It speaks to 8.4 billion souls on the planet. Intuitive life, emotional intelligence, this aspect that is, air quotes, unseen, yet we know it exists because it guides us, it speaks to us. When we listen, it's a game changer. It completely changes our lives in the most positive, pure, beautiful way. It's quantum leaping forward. It goes to number one from the unseen. And they said, upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out and round and round. It's the lyrics from the song by Diana Ross, Upside Down. It's number one. It's like we're being turned upside down. Between these two eras, Piscean and Aquarian, patriarchal, matriarchal, divine masculine, divine feminine, it's like we're being just completely inverted, turned upside down. And so, boy, you turn me inside out and round and round. That's what it feels like. That's what it can feel like. But it doesn't have to be disharmonious or confrontational. It just says, okay, it's going to be, it's like when you say, when you stand on your head, you stand on your head, put your feet against the wall and so forth. And all of a sudden it's like the hanged man in the tarot. You have a whole new perspective of things. Oh, I never saw it like that before. No, because for 2,000 plus years, we've been walking upright in this paradigm. Well, now it's like, whoop, now we're turned upside down. Oh, well, now we have a whole new vista, a whole new paradigm to work with. New eyes. And so this upside down, boy, you turn me inside out and round and round. And they said, moving beyond. You see how we're reaching beyond, we're moving beyond. That owl symbol, that owl Sabian symbol is about reaching beyond. And so they said, moving beyond, quote, the box hyphen container we've constructed, placed ourselves in. And this took me back to last week, the canary medicine, and it was speaking to the fact that freedom versus confinement. A free canary represents independence and the courage to be authentic, while a caged canary can symbolize feeling stifled, trapped by responsibilities, or emotionally repressed or stagnant. Things become stagnant. And when it's over, it's over. It's like they're saying to me, when the party's over, the party's over. When the Piscean era is over, it's over. There's nothing worse than kind of staying past when the party's ended. It's bleak, it's sad, it's dismal. It's kind of like a mess because you see the remnants. But there was a point at which there's a peak experience of this. I'm just bringing that back up because this was peak experiences, le YACHTSMEN, funneling, channeling, greatness. This is what the unseen is channeling and funneling to us. Greatness, not leftovers, greatness. not stagnation, greatness. Not the past, greatness. It's what lies before us. It's what lies within us. Now let's jump to, we're going to work with hexagram 13, and this is from divination.com, and it's known as fellowship, and it speaks to last week's key word, which was unification. And so here we have our first quote. When communal or tribal bonds unite a group of people, great success is possible. So when communal or tribal bonds unite a group of people, this is about when we recognize our unity, our oneness. This is where we are in the great cycle. We know all of this, right? And yet it bears reminding and repeating because we've forgotten our unification, our unity, our fellowship, and how when communal or tribal bonds unite a group of people, great success is possible. But such bonding only develops when personal interests are subordinate to virtuous human relations. That's Aquarian. That's matriarchal. It's no longer me, I. It's these things only happen. The bonding develops when personal interests, the I, the me, personal interests are subordinated to virtuous human relations. What's best for all of us? How do we all rise, win? How do we take care of the planet? How do we take care of one another? It's not that we're subordinating ourselves to someone else's, being run roughshod over, or their shadow, or their illicitness or darkness. It's saying, how do I subordinate my ego, mind, personality, human to divine will, to that which is virtuous in human relations? Like open communication and empathy, the broader the perspective, the greater the good that can be achieved. And the greater the potential good, the more powerful the support behind it. It magnifies, it amplifies, because it's in alignment with the purity of source, the purity of our greatness. Brings me to our second quote. A spirit of cooperation steadies the boat for the good of all. A spirit of cooperation steadies the boat for the good of all. Though it does help to have a beautiful island of high ideals to row towards. So this is about, it's about having, pure intentions and aspirations and ideals. A spirit of cooperation steadies the boat for the good of all. Because when we have that purity, a high tide lifts all boats. It's a beautiful quote. Well, this is what this 13 fellowship, hexagram 13, is speaking to. Learn to respect the power of diversity, for a community's strength lies not only in its numbers, but in the diverse skills and collective resources of its members. Each of us is a unique fractal of the divine, purposeful, powerful, pure. And when we harness the power, when we respect it, when we revere the power of that diversity, a community's strength lies not only in its numbers, but in the diverse skills and collective resources of its members. It amplifies, it magnifies, it comes to life. Like the stoutest walls reinforced by different materials, the strongest groups benefit from a tolerance of differences, strengthening the fabric of the whole. With a unified group solidly behind you, even difficult enterprises can be undertaken without great risk. So we see on the world stage, and certainly in America, in the United States of America, this demonization and this division and this wanting to denigrate diversity, the diversity. And yet, because that's on the surface, and yet it is so part of our soul, so part of our unique, indelible imprint, energy. But when you harness that diversity, when you have the humility to say, I don't know the answer to that question or that topic, teach me, enlighten me, all the boats rise. However, when you live life where you denigrate that or you demean it or you're afraid of it, so you exclude it, then you're in a vacuum of lack. And so here the unseen is speaking to us about, while this may feel upside down, we're moving beyond the box and the container we've constructed and placed ourselves in, that caged canary, and how to release ourselves. Because of course the cage, we hold the keys to our own imprisonment. The door is wide open. The keys are in our hand. All we have to do is walk out of it. That's all we have to do. Now let's move to hexagram 46. It's known as pushing upward, and this is from tarot.com. Natural advancement is represented by growth in springtime, when new plant life pushes upward through the earth. The emphasis is on upward motion, a movement from obscurity to influence. That was last week's, here we are, astrological influences, skyrocketing, stardom, fame. Who rises, who falls, who comes from obscurity to influence and influence to obscurity. And so here we have this beautiful hexagram 46 pushing upward, because that's what we're doing. We're completing this cycle and we're pushing upward. And so it's a movement from obscurity to influence, with growth that is supported by adaptability and an absence of obstacles. Constant, flexible growth is the key attribute of a plant pushing upward. This reading suggests a period of promotion and prosperity for you. And it brings me to quote 3. When you pay respect to the great, you pave the way for your own greatness. So they are funneling and channeling. The unseen is funneling and channeling greatness into us. Mercury. It's being funneled into us, how we think, how we speak, how we interact, communicate. So when you pay respect to the great, you pave the way for your own greatness. This is by Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. So it's to recognize that we are pushing upward. This isn't regressing. This is rising. The wise person, in harmony with fate, is sensitive but determined. Make a sincere effort to apply a determined effort against the forces of inertia by bending around obstacles that arise, and good fortune will follow. This is about go with the flow. Go be in alignment with soul source connection. Go as guided so that good fortune follows. It will arise. Otherwise, it's stagnant. It's inertia. It's stagnation. By remaining tolerant and flexible, you will retain the conscious innocence that best fuels growth and achievement. This is being childlike, and again, it's the Fool in the Tarot. It is that kind of awe and wonder, and it begins a journey. It's the hero's journey. The Tarot, the Fool card begins the tarot, begins the hero's journey in the tarot, and then the Hanged Man, of course, puts a new perspective on things. So it fuels growth and advancement. Willpower and self-control are necessary to manage growth properly. However, an inner enthusiasm for life is what drives it. So we do need to, again, we have to have self-control, self-discipline, discernment, but also ease and flexibility and tolerance and so forth. And this inner enthusiasm, it's our fire, it's our inner light. This inner enthusiasm for life is what drives it. And it brings me to this last quote that we have, that, life becomes brilliant when purpose is a light that shines upon it. This is also by Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. Life becomes brilliant when purpose is a light that shines upon it. And so It's to recognize our inner brilliance, our inner light, our inner capabilities and possibilities. We are limitless, and there is nothing before us. It may be unknown to us, but there is nothing before us that we can't achieve, that we cannot conquer in the most pure way, meaning become one with, rise, ascend to it. Number 2 from the unseen, poured into greatness, we shine yet again. We shine once again. And then they said, think spotlight. So this is like, poured into greatness. They're funneling and channeling greatness into us. So poured into greatness, we shine yet again. We shine yet again. And then they said, think spotlight. So this is about how, again, who rises from obscurity to prominence, who falls, and how, for most, maybe not all, there are shy people, timid people, but, when you stand in the light, illuminated, you stand taller, you smile in a more broad way. You just have a bounce in your, pep in your step. It's that kind of, so poured into greatness, we shine yet again, we shine once again. And this think spotlight, when the spotlight hits you, it has warmth, it illuminates. Yes, it can be, a little bit like, oh, but yet then we come into our own comfort with it, our resonance with it. And then we love it. It becomes endearing. You don't want to leave it. However, humility, 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 authenticity, authenticity, authenticity. Because what you don't want to do is fall into hubris when standing in the spotlight. Arrogance, hubris, entitlement. Well, then we're getting into the goo of things, and you don't want to ever be in the goo of things. You want to be in the humility and the authenticity, the purity of the light, of the spotlight. Number 3 from the unseen is, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Of course, it is a very famous statement from a soap opera in the United States. Like the sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. And they said, too much thinking spoils and delays the adventure. So while, yes, we absolutely must use discernment, intuitive insight, and wisdom, that owl, canary, fox, medicines, and everything, what the unseen is saying to us is, however, too much contemplation, too much procrastinating, too much thinking spoils and delays the adventure. It's the hero's journey, the fool. It's about taking the risks, but they're constructive and they're guided risks. It's not foolhardy, meaning absent discernment and absent soul source GPS connection guidance. And thus, they're saying to us, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. It's like, get on with it. Get in alignment, get moving, do what you need to do to move forward, to take this leap of faith, whatever it may be. It will be individual and unique to each of us. And yet it will collectively transcend and change the world we live in. So now let's go to our key word. Here we are. Our key word is endowment. And with that, typically its definition is a quality or ability possessed or inherited by someone. Natural capacity, power, or ability. The action of endowing something or someone. An income or form of prosperity given or bequeathed to someone. That's its, everyday definition. The spiritual meaning of endowment is a sacred gift, power, and knowledge from the divine, from God, the divine. It represents a bestowal of divine blessings, funneling and channeling greatness. So it represents a bestowal of divine blessings, covenants, and spiritual power to assist individuals live righteously and return to the divine's presence or to divine will. That's your soul's will, divine will. The term also refers to the spiritual gifts bestowed by God, the divine, upon believers, equipping them for service and the advancement of the eternal kingdom. It's a sacred gift. Endowment is a gift from the divine that includes greater knowledge of the divine's purpose, direction, and spiritual protection. Receiving your endowment means being endowed with power from on high and receiving knowledge on how to access that power to accomplish divine will. Because again, all of this is energy that moves through us. It's not ours, it's what moves through us. And so this is this bestowal, this endowment of the divine, so that we harness and rise, that we reach our highest octave. Because otherwise it's mental. I think, it's ego, mind, personality, human. That's where we've been. Where we're going, the unseen, the master weaver, the divine, and this higher octave of what's possible and how we're being endowed with this greatness. It's about spiritual gifts. The Bible speaks of endowment as the spiritual gifts, such as wisdom, knowledge, faith, and healing that God, the divine, gives to believers through the Holy Spirit for the common good. It can also refer to the divine equipping individuals with abilities, blessings, and grace to serve both the divine and divine's will, but also the greater whole. And then it's about inner transformation. The concept includes both this spiritual endowment. The concept includes both the internal transformation and the outward expression of faith, such as purity, joy, and a commitment to service. And so we have this beautiful upward reaching beyond established forms, this 1313. It's moving beyond the box and the container we've constructed and placed ourselves in. It's liberation, it's deliverance. However, to achieve that, we must first believe it. Believing it doesn't mean, oh, I see that it's occurred and now I believe it. It's believing it. Blessed are those who believe but did not or do not see. It's a knowing. I know this to be true. I know that this will happen. And thus I must, canary in the cage, I must liberate myself to receive this. It'll be simultaneous, but we can meet the divine, halfway or more than halfway. It's always an inside job. We can start within and then advance so that these energies collide and meet one another. Number 4 from the unseen. They said, reach for the stars. There you will find what you've been looking, longing, searching for. So it's reach for the stars. There you will find what you've been longing, and searching for. And this reminded me, instantly I started hearing the lyrics from I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For from U2, from the group, the band U2. The third verse, the lyrics for the song, I believe in the kingdom come, then all the colors will bleed into one. But yes, I'm still running. You broke the bonds and you loosened the chains, carried the cross of my shame. I believe it, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's number 4, it's foundational. The unseen is saying, reach for the stars. In other words, stop playing small. Stop telling ourselves that we can't have something or we can't achieve this or that it's not possible. The unseen is telling us to reach for the stars. And of course, the stars and their canopy, they tell a divine story. And so when we reach for the stars, we're reaching for a higher octave of ourselves and for what's possible, what's always been before us. It's the heavens, the stars, when we look up, it transcends language, ethnicity, culture, demographics, sexuality, gender, all of these, it transcends it all. It's universal language. And the very interesting thing about this is that um, the album, the song, I still haven't found what I'm searching for by U2. It was written in the style of King David, specifically from the poems recorded in the Book of Psalms in the Old Testament. The lyricism also emulates Charles Bukowski's poetry, who Bono was reading at the time. The subject Bono is searching for is left without description. He doesn't tell us what he's pursuing, just that he is searching with a single-minded focus and great longing. This section is written in a nearly identical style to the writings of David. There are many allusions in the later stanzas, Christian and romantic, sensual, and in the last stanza, a declaration of the narrator's worldview and personal beliefs. However, he also tells his audience that he has not reached his destination and is still looking to be with the you he mentions in the beginning of the song. See, we're still looking unification. We're still looking to unify ourselves, to be whole again. And thus, this poured into greatness, we shine yet again. We shine once again. That what is before us is this beautiful octave of unification, of unity, of finally reaching for the stars. We find what we've been looking for, searching for. It's within us. It's been within us the entire time. But through ego, mind, personality, human separation, and 2,000 plus years of the word that's coming to me is dogma, being told, almost like it's being beaten into us, that we are separate from. And yet, what did Master Jesus do when he walked in to the temple and all of the market was out where there were those that should have been the Gentiles? That was the area for the Gentiles to receive the Father, the divine God, and yet they were having a bazaar there, selling, merchants and everything. And he tossed the tables, and he said, "You bar from the people what is rightfully theirs." And there are many other verses where it says you don't have to go and pray, publicly in that way in the spotlight. Do it in the closet or in the bedroom where no one sees you. In other words, you go direct to the divine. You go direct to the Father. And in that connectivity, reciprocity, greatness is received. It's innate within us. It's unique and divine within us, that it's ours. It's already ours. And so this reach for the stars, there you will find what you've been looking, longing, and searching for. This utopia. So now let's move into powerful stuff. Let me know in the comments. It's quite a powerful energies with this Gemini super full moon and the messages from the divine. I'm going to Juliana McCarthy from etherealculture.com, and she's talking about the overall astrology for December 2025, a crystalline threshold. As December begins, we're finally out of a shadowy retrograde season. Momentum is gaining quickly as a stellium forms in fiery Sagittarius, reinvigorating us. That's where I was showing you the planets there's going to be 5+ planets in Sagittarius coming up. Relationships sharpen into focus. Conversations feel more honest than ever, and the final movements of the Pisces-Aries era glimmer beneath everything. There's a sense that we're tying together threads of an entire year's worth of transformation, while new storylines hum in the background. The first stretch of the month is marked by a beautiful grand water trine. And I'll just bring up, that is that beautiful big blue triangle in the middle of the astrological wheel. It's a grand water trine. It's Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, and Mercury in Scorpio, and they form a perfect triangle, offering coherence spiritual support, and a rare feeling that something is finally ready to click into place. They're in water signs, which is our emotions, but it also soothes. It's like taking a wonderful bath or a shower. It cleanses, it purifies, it renews, it calms. So while we're making this massive transition, this reaching beyond established forms, this 1313, the heavy hitter, as above, so below. We are the divine, the unseen, the host, the master weaver is doing it with care, with gentleness, with love. So it offers this coherence and spiritual support and a rare feeling that something is finally ready to click into place. Projects are gaining steam, truth is surfacing with clarity, and emotional intelligence is easily accessible. Emotional intelligence, soul source connection. Our soul source is easily accessible. By mid-month, the tone shifts. Restlessness stirs and information moves too fast. Mercury and Lilith oppose shocking Uranus, exposing secrets, because we're emptying the vessel. We're still deconstructing where we've been, the past. Confusion is a necessary part of our sorting process. We're shedding old skin and decluttering our minds to feel refreshed. As we approach the solstice, that's on 12/21, it's the winter solstice, intensity arrives, presenting roadblocks that force us to grow. The Sun and Venus square stern Saturn. So that's a confrontational and frictional aspect that needs, it's energy that needs to be released. So it's the Sun and Venus square Saturn, forcing reality checks. Integrity, commitment, and hard work are now essential. Luckily, the holidays are also touched with deep spiritual resonance and increased capacity for connection, compassion, and forgiveness. So again, this is, they're saying to me, it's like a mixed bag, but it's a good bag. It's like when when you might you go to a holiday party or something, and you get this box, and what's inside, or one of these subscription boxes or whatever. You never quite know what's coming in it, and yet it's something for you, no matter what it is. And the discernment is, what is each thing? Because they're all blessings. So Venus, Neptune, and Chiron weave tenderness through the chaos. December is demanding and clarifying, yet strangely beautiful. We're defining our values, our direction, our goals, and plans of action, healing our hearts and melting into love as we cross the threshold into a new year. It's that 1 Corinthians 13:13. It's about faith and hope, but love is what matters. And so here, as Juliana McCarthy is speaking to, and melting into love as we cross the threshold into a new year, as we reach beyond where we've been. It's about love. It's not about hate. It's not about division. It's not about separation. It's about unification, harmony, love, which sustain faith and hope and vision for the future. Now let's jump to, this is Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, and galactic acceleration. Events transpire quickly and situations unfold rapidly this week, fueled by a galactic super full moon that is eclipse-like in its effects. The lunation peaks at 3:13 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, December 4th, when the moon is at 13 degrees 3 arc minutes of Gemini, and it opposes the sun at that same degree in Sagittarius. The position of the sun is significant, for it aligns with a mysterious point in space known as the Great Attractor, currently at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. So the sun is going to be at 13 degrees, 3 arc minutes of Sagittarius, and the Great Attractor is at 14 degrees Sagittarius. They're less than a degree apart. Astronomers do not know exactly what this galactic anomaly is, but they can tell that it is massive. The Great Attractor has an enormous gravitational pull and is drawing our Milky Way galaxy and the supercluster of hundreds of galaxies that we are a part of toward it at the astonishing speed of 600 kilometers per second. It's 1.3 million miles per hour. The great attractor is the reason our galaxy is moving through space and traveling on its specific route through the universe. Scientists have observed that the immense gravity of the great attractor has the ability to warp time and space as well as bend light. It's a pretty powerful energy source. Symbolically, the great attractor represents the magnetic pull of our cosmic destiny, which appears to influence the course of our lives, whether or not we are consciously aware of it. Because its true nature is unknown, the great attractor also represents the great mysteries of existence and our attraction to that which is beyond our understanding, reaching beyond established forms, moving beyond the box and the container. You get that we're moving beyond where we've been. So it's about, the great attractor also represents the great mysteries of existence and our attraction to that which is beyond our understanding. Its presence brings up the debate of fate versus free will and how those forces play out in our individual and collective lives. This week, as we work with this galactic full moon, we are likely to observe an acceleration of events, as well as a sense that what is occurring is deeply fated. In addition, the emotional impact of the lunation is increased due to it being a supermoon, with the moon at the point in its orbit nearest the Earth. It potentially has a stronger effect on the waters of planet Earth and the fluids and emotions of humans. We're moving beyond where we've been. We're going back to where we began, but an octave higher. We have this funneling and channeling of greatness, this bestowal of gifts, and it's Pentecost. It is the Holy Spirit, and it's baptism by fire, where those at Pentecost were illumined by the Holy Spirit, fire, and thus awakened to a whole new reality, a whole new way of being. This funneling and channeling of greatness, and how poured into greatness we shine yet again. We shine once again. And think spotlight. So it's a magnification. It's an amplification. It goes to the point, number 5 from the unseen, which is, never knew I could feel like this, come what may. We had that. It was number 2 from last week, come what may. So they're saying to it, and it's number 5 about change. And so this is about, never knew I could feel like this. So imagine you wake up and you're just different. You're illumined. You're expanded in consciousness, in awareness, in vitality, light, divinity. We've talked about that, what scientists, coined dark DNA and junk DNA, which is really quite, for me, offensive when we should recognize that it's divine DNA. Just because it's been quote unquote dormant doesn't mean that it makes it junk or dark. It's been dormant, but it's divine. That gets activated, and of course we can look back and see 12 strands of DNA. They imagine all 12 strands illuminated. Lastly but not least, from Pam Youngins at North Point Journal, she's speaking about Mars out of bounds. We talked about this a few episodes back, but adding to the intensity of December, the planet Mars is out of bounds from November 27th, 2025. It's going to be out of bounds for a decade, but this is its current out of bounds cycle. From November 27th, 2025 to January 4th, 2026. When a planet is out of bounds, it's more than 23 degrees, 27 arc minutes away from the planet of the ecliptic, the plane of the ecliptic. Its influence tends to be unpredictable or more extreme than usual. When proactive Mars is out of bounds, people can be more assertive and more impulsive or reactive. When the red planet with the red planet in Sagittarius, the courage of our convictions is very strong throughout the month. However, allowing anger to rule our actions can lead to reckless, aggressive, or shocking behaviors. So again, high octane powers, Mars out of bounds, it means it's beyond. It's beyond the container, the box. If it's not within the plane of the ecliptic, when it exceeds that 23 degrees, 27 arc minutes, and for the next decade, we talked about this, Mars will be out of bounds. And I believe it's out of bounds to the south, which means it's everything that's going to be released. And thereby, it's moving us beyond where we've been. All of this is about moving us beyond where we've been. It's about breaking down the deconstruction of the previous era, 2,000 plus years, and thereby making space, emptying our vessel, making space for the new, for this upside down, boy, you turn me inside out, this inverted, hanged man reality, and how it's still, the hanged man meets the fool in the tarot, this beautiful hero's journey that we embark on. And so last but not least, and mindful of the time, I'm going to jump to Astrology by Lauren. And she is speaking about how this Mercury having just gone direct, this Mercury direct, this one is slightly different in that Mercury's travels to and from Sagittarius and Scorpio, because it was in Sagittarius, it retrograded, it went back into Scorpio, now it's moving forward and it will re-enter Scorpio coming up. Had it opposing Uranus 3 times. So Mercury is opposing Uranus 3 times during this retrograde. Before, during, and then after the retrograde. So first time was on October 29th, the second time November 19th, and then its upcoming third and final time is December 10th, where Mercury is going to oppose Uranus. It's like, and that's where they're funneling. It's like looking at a situation from several angles before we totally make up our minds. So it can include things like changing our minds, changing the direction, or looking at things in a different light. Hanged man. Uranus is unexpected. It is also illuminating. It aims to free us up. Canary, uncaged canary, liberated canary. It aims to free us up so that we are not limited by the usual rules and strictures, this moving beyond the box and the container we've constructed and placed ourselves in. Changes can come from without, or we create them ourselves from within. Either way, even as we are making the spreadsheets and organizing our lives, it might be good to do so with a grain of flexibility. This is that wonderful quote about, life happens while you're planning. Be open, be fluid, yes, be proactive, making plans and everything, and yet expect the unexpected, be flexible. At least until we get past the last opposition on December 10th. Change can leave many feeling baffled. It is messy in Pisces. It's messy in pieces and can feel chaotic and unmoored. But at some point in the process, we begin to see the chinks of light peeking through the fabric. And that's what all this looks like as Mercury finally makes its direct station on November 29th. This is a scenario occurring in increments and steps. It aims to restore hope and faith. You see this hope and faith, and love is the basis, the foundation, and the belief that things can indeed be better. And this is all being capped off this week with a full moon on December 14th, 13 degrees arc minute. 13 degrees Gemini, 3 arc minutes. Gemini is a Mercury sign, and as Mercury gives us the green light to proceed, the Gemini moon will show us why. Full moons are times of culmination. Stuff comes to the surface and things are brought to completion. This full moon also has a significant position in the overall scheme of things. It is the full moon betwixt and between 2 lunar eclipses. The eclipse of September 7th at 15 degrees Pisces, and the upcoming lunar eclipse on March 3rd, 2026 at 13 degrees Virgo. 13. For anyone who has important points in their natal charts at or around 13 to 15 degrees of the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, this moon can serve as a turning point in your life. So you can look in your own natal chart to see, do you have planets that are in the mutable signs of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces that are between 13 and 15 degrees? If you do, this will impact you more specifically, and it speaks to turning points. But we should all pay attention. The full moon on December 4th stands at the bending of the nodes. The nodes are the points in which the sun, moon, and the earth can come into perfect alignment. So much so that either the sun or the moon is eclipsed. The full moon this week is at cross quarters with the true nodes of the moon, and thus betwixt and between the two eclipses. So this is hitting directly in the midpoint. This Gemini super full moon, this 1313, this reaching beyond, it's right between, it's right in the middle. So it's betwixt and between these two eclipses. And eclipses, of course, really jump us forward. Because the North Node is in Pisces, the full moon in Gemini is in service to the behests of this node that has to do with the evolutionary progress of humankind. Out of the myths and ancient memories of the Pisces node, all the experiences, the essence and the meaning of all things, a story is unfolding. This may be in words, it may be in another symbolic language, one that connects the stars. Look, reach for the stars, that canopy that transcends language and culture and all the things we just talked about. So this may be in words, it may be in another symbolic language, one that, and this funneling and channeling of greatness, one that connects the Pentecost, the descent of the Holy Spirit and its baptism by fire, illumination, one that connects with the essence of your very soul. It's going to speak to your soul, it's going to connect to it. And it is this that we are being asked to take with us on the next leg of our journey. And she concludes with a quote, Lauren, Astrology by Lauren, the goal of the hero's journey, that's the Fool card in the tarot, the goal of the hero's journey is yourself, finding yourself. It's a quote by Joseph Campbell. So, never knew I could feel like this. Come what may, this is a fait accompli. This is a done deal. This is happening. No matter what it looks like on the world stage. That's deconstruction. What all of this, that the unseen is speaking to, is construction. That which is before us, what's to come. So, reaching beyond established forms and norms. Owl medicine revisited. Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out. It's the hanged man in the tarot. This moving beyond the box, the container we've constructed and placed ourselves in. It's the liberated canary. Poured into greatness, we shine yet once again. And thus it's think spotlight, illumination, and who rises from obscurity to prominence and prominence to obscurity. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Too much thinking spoils and delays the adventure. Get to it. Harness discernment, harness your soul source connection, but get out of your own way and go as guided. Reach for the stars. There you will find what you've been looking, longing, and searching for, and never knew I could feel like this, come what may. All right, huge big energies, super full moon. It's the last full moon of 2025 of the cycle of the season. The next one will be in January of 2026, that 10-year, that new beginnings. So let's see what happens next. We will see you all next week. Thank you again for your presence, your participation, your energy, your joy, your light, and for being on this journey with us. We will see you next week.